in place for the board's operational components for the new 25-26 fiscal year. Before we take action, are there any public comments specific to the organizational action items? We'll have public comments on everything else later, but this is just for all the contracts and agreements that are going into place, or in place, we're just reaffirming. All right, seeing no comments, let's move on. Item E, organizational meeting actions. Can I have a motion to move organizational meeting action items 1 through 10 in consent agenda format? Mr. Finkelstein, Mr. Bigman can second. 1, policies. 2, curricula. 3, textbooks. 4, service appointments. Got a lot of those. 5, finance. 6, board meeting dates. 7, appointment of representatives. 8, district mission statements. 9, district organizational charts. 10, petty cash accounts. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Parashuden?
Yes.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item F, minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular public meeting on Monday, May 5th, 2025? Ms. Longley Richards? Mr. Finkelstein can second. Any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Got it. Thank you. All right, moving on to presentations. We have 3 tonight. I'll turn it over to Dr. Diskin to introduce the first one, and I believe we have students who want to present to the board, so we are going to move out there into the audience.
Yes, good evening, everyone. We'd like to welcome our Wyoming Wildcats, Ms. Muller and Mr. Mongan. They are going to present tonight some of their school meeting expertise as they would like to lead you in a school meeting. Do you want us to move into the audience, or are we okay here? Move in there, okay.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thank you to the Board of Education for allowing us to present this evening, as well to Dr. Diskin, Mr. Connolly, and our entire audience here today. Thank you so much for coming tonight to our Board of Ed meeting so that we can share about Wyoming Schools' mission, vision, and values, and who better to present than our Student Council. Student Council, come on up.
Good evening, Wyoming School. Wyoming School, we're at a Board of Education meeting with our whole district. Good point. Good evening, Millburn School District. Welcome to our whole school meeting.
At Wyoming School, we all participate in whole school meetings every month.
Our whole school meetings are celebrations where every one of our Wildcats learns the things that are most important to us. Our habits, our vision, and our values.
Our whole school meetings are where we truly come together to live together, learn together, and lead together.
Let's get this meeting started the way we always do at Wyoming School, with an enthusiastic reading.
We will say the name of your school and ask you to greet us back with a unique sound. Clap twice if you're from Deerfield School.
Snap twice if you're from Glenwood School.
Whistle twice if you're from Hawthorne School.
Stomp twice if you're from South Mountain School.
Hum twice if you're from Washington School.
Give us a wahoo if you're from Wyoming School.
And chill if you're from Millburn schools.
We always keep our whole school meeting celebrations going by recognizing our birthday stars of the month.
Please stand or give us a big wave if you have a birthday in the month of May.
Normally, we would all sing happy birthday to you. Tonight, we are a little pressed for time, so let's give our birthday stars a round of applause.
Our whole school meetings are truly a celebration of the values we hold dear at Wyoming School.
They are also a great opportunity to teach everyone in our Wyoming school community about these values.
We started our whole school meetings by celebrating and learning all about the 7 habits of happy kids. Those are habits based on Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people.
Throughout our whole school meetings, we learn to
Be proactive.
Begin with the end in mind.
Put first things first.
Think win-win.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Synergize.
And sharpen the saw.
But we didn't just teach the habits, we celebrated them too.
All month long, after we learned a new habit, we practiced them in our classrooms, in the hallways, at lunch and recess, everywhere.
And we were always on the lookout for those wildcats that truly showed a great example of those habits.
Then, at the next whole school meeting, we would celebrate those great example wildcats by calling them up to be whole school leaders.
We would cheer for our whole school leaders, and they even got a pizza lunch with Miss Muller and Mr. Mongan.
We are always so excited to see who our next whole school leaders will be, and we are always so happy for each of our leaders. But we didn't just end with learning about the 7 habits of happy kids.
The very next year, we learned a new habit, voice.
That whole year, we learned how to find our voice, use our voice, and listen to the voices of others.
We also changed the name of our whole school leaders to our Wyoming School Valuable Voices.
Each year after that, we discovered and celebrated a new theme or a new way to view the 7 habits of happy kids.
the 7 habits and the themes taught us and helped us celebrate what we truly value at Wyoming School.
After voice, we celebrated being part of a community, especially when we had to distance during the pandemic.
We learned how we could stay together even when we had to be a little distanced apart.
When we came back to school together, it was time to focus on our potential.
After we discovered our potential, we celebrated what is truly meant to achieve greatness.
Using our voice as a community, activating our full potential to achieve greatness, last year we learned and celebrated what it meant to be a Wyoming Wildcat most mindset.
And this year, using the 8 habits of happy kids as our guide, our whole school theme is all about giving the extra 1%.
The extra 1% is the tangible, actual next step a person can take to truly activate their potential and achieve greatness. It is kind of like giving the 101%.
Like we say at Wyoming School, if you can, you must. We even have signs above every door asking our Wildcats, how did I give the extra 1% today? Every day, as our students exit the school at dismissal, they ask that question, reflect on how they gave the extra 1%, and they feel great about themselves and motivated for the next day.
We can tell you all about how we feel when we give the extra 1%, but tonight we would rather show you.
Just like at our Wyoming School whole school meetings, we always have a fun activity to help us learn our habit and value for the month. Get ready to do some thinking and get active.
It just so happens that we have a beach ball right here.
We're going to throw the ball to you, and when you catch it, we would like you to proudly say one way that you gave the extra 1% today or recently. Think hard, think deeply.
We will give you a chance to think about your answer as we model what the activity looks like.
I give the extra 1% by studying 15 extra minutes for my math test.
I gave the extra 1% by giving a foul ball to a girl at a baseball game.
I gave the extra 1% by giving a presentation to the Board of Education.
I gave the extra 1% by helping my friend in math when she didn't understand something. And now to our wonderful audience.
I'm here for 1% to support the entire group of student council and especially my granddaughter, Bonnie.
I gave my 1% by catching this ball.
Okay.
I gave the extra 1% by holding the door open for strangers today.
And now to our Board of Education members.
I'm giving 1%, trying to finalize the contract with our NBA union.
I gave my 1% writing extra detailed minutes from the program.
I gave the extra 1% by making my reports extra long sometimes.
Thank you, everyone.
Doesn't it feel great to know that you gave the extra 1%?
Now you know what it feels like to be a Wyoming school Wildcat.
We always end our meetings with important school news and announcements and lots of positivity. So here are our news and announcements for Wyoming School.
Our next whole school meeting is all set to take place this Wednesday, May 21st. Our first graders will be leading the meeting. But don't tell anyone, it's a surprise.
On May 22nd, we will welcome our newest Wildcats and their families for kindergarten orientation. Remember, everyone, schools will be closed on Friday, May 23rd and Monday, May 26th for the Memorial Day holiday.
We will have our wonderful Wyoming Field Day on Thursday, May 29.
On Wednesday, June 4th, Wyoming School will have a Strawberry Festival.
On Tuesday, June 10th, we will celebrate our amazing Genius Hour projects with Wyoming School's 4th annual KED Talks.
Finally, on Wednesday, June 18th, we will celebrate our 4th grade Wildcats during the 4th grade Moving Up ceremony.
We sure have lots to look forward to.
Well, that about does it for our whole school and whole district meeting today.
Thank you for being a great audience. Live the 7 habits, use your voice, celebrate your community, activate your potential, find greatness, and choose the right mindset.
And always remember to give the extra 1%.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you to our wonderful student council for such a fabulous job. Well done. We are so proud of our Wyoming Wildcats, but most importantly, everything that they have worked so hard on our student council, but of course, instilling the mission, the vision, and the values of a Wyoming school, following the wonderful habits that we do each and every day. And it couldn't be possible without all of our teachers who work so hard to instill the work. Our student council advisor, Mrs. Naftali, who's here with us this evening. Mr. Mongan, who picks up all of the background work with our student council. And of course, it comes down to the students. So once again, thank you so much for everything that you did and for presenting tonight. Thank you to our Board of Education. We appreciate us for presenting this evening. Yeah. Mr. Mongan, you want to come up?
Thank you so much for having me. That's something Mike could write about.
Great job, guys. Kristen, great job.
Oh, thank you so much to the Wildcats. I'm sure you have to get home to do homework or Van Huyen ice cream after that fantastic presentation. Do something to celebrate. We'll just give a minute for them to clear out and get set up for the next presentation.
Check, 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 check.
All right, Dr. Diskin will introduce the next presentation.
So I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Trish O'Gorman. So she is our lead nurse, and she has today our wellness presentation that we do yearly.
Thank you, Dr. Diskin. As Dr. Diskin said, I am Trish O'Gorman, the lead nurse and the nurse at Washington School. I guess I should put that first. And I am also the wellness coordinator for the district. So I'm here to share this year's highlights of our wellness-focused initiatives, both district-wide and really the implementation of the comprehensive health curricula across all our schools. This is the boring part, in a way. Our district wellness policy aligns with the New Jersey Department of Education standards for nutrition and physical health, as well as the federal guidelines outlined in the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. As you will see in this presentation, each school within our district provides a wide range of social, emotional, and environmental wellness opportunities for both students and staff. These offerings are complemented by a comprehensive health and physical education curriculum that supports the overall well-being of our school community. The District Wellness Committee is comprised of representatives from each school building, along with members of our school food service team. This committee met multiple times throughout the year to establish goals, generate ideas, and provide oversight for school health and safety policies. While district-wide coordination is essential, the true impact of our wellness initiatives is driven by the dedicated efforts of the individual school-based wellness committees, which bring these initiatives to life at the building level. The school health team typically includes the school nurses and school physician, who work collaboratively with students, their families, or caregivers, and when needed, the student's primary healthcare provider. Our comprehensive school health services staff also include counselors, social workers, psychologists, physical therapists, speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, behaviorists, learning consultants, and a teacher of the hearing impaired. This multidisciplinary team works in close collaboration to ensure that each student's educational, health, and wellness needs are met, creating a supportive environment. Creating a safe and positive school environment is essential to supporting students' overall wellness and academic success. It also plays a key role in promoting job satisfaction and well-being among school staff. According to the Safe and Supportive Schools model, a positive school climate is built on 3 foundational elements: engagement, safety, and environment. Together, these components foster a sense of connection and belonging throughout the school community. Engagement and strong relationships among students, teachers, families, and school staff serve as powerful protective factors. These connections help students build resilience, develop self-regulation skills, and feel supported in their academic and personal growth. Safety is another critical element of a positive school climate. For students and staff to thrive, they must feel secure, free from violence, bullying, harassment, and substance use or abuse. A safe environment is a prerequisite for meaningful learning and social development. Research consistently shows that a healthy school environment reduces absenteeism, boosts academic performance, enhances productivity, and improves both student and staff health outcomes. To support these efforts, our district utilizes software tools such as GoGuardian and Gaggle to monitor student online activity. These programs help identify potential threats to student safety and well-being, and when a concern is flagged, it may trigger a risk or threat assessment conducted by trained professionals within each school building. Pomptonian Food Service provides lunch for our middle and high schoolers and actively supports student engagement through health-focused initiatives. One of the wonderful things they do is that each year they sponsor a school-wide competition that challenges high school and middle school students to create a nutritious and appealing recipe. This year's winner was a middle schooler, Jake Elsray Elmgart. He was named the Super Grand Prize winner in the Healthy School Lunch Challenge with his recipe for spicy smoky chicken apple bowls, which are now on the menu at the middle school if you want to drop by. In alignment with the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, our elementary schools promote healthy lunches and snacks. While lunches are typically provided by the parents or guardians, many of our PTOs offer a food service that gives parents the opportunity to purchase meals for their children. To support the development of lifelong healthy eating habits, high sugar items such as soda and candy are strongly discouraged. In addition, teachers are not permitted to use food as rewards. Nutrition education is embedded within the health curriculum from kindergarten all the way through. This slide provides an overview of the health curriculum that is taught at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. The elementary program is further detailed by grade level, reflecting a developmentally appropriate progression of topics. As students grow and mature, the curriculum evolves to address their changing needs, ensuring that content remains relevant, age-appropriate, and aligned with their physical, cognitive, and emotional development. In this presentation, I will give you a brief overview of the implementation of the health and wellness policy at each grade level. These are some of the people on the elementary school wellness teams. As you can see, they're made up of administrators, nurses, and teachers. It really is a voluntary position for anybody who has an interest in health and wellness. This slide highlights several annual events that take place in our elementary schools. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I think they'll be familiar names to most of you who've been in the school district for a while, from Caring Kids to the DARE program, and so on. What's not listed here is our field day, which I should really put on there because it's a big highlight for most of the kids, and it's all about school spirit and how we can have fun while we're getting physically active. Wellness Week this year took place from March 17th to the 21st in our elementary school districts, our schools, from kindergarten through 4th grade. Each day was centered around a specific wellness theme to engage students in a variety of health-focused activities. Go Green for Wellness, Choose Day Tuesday, Walking Wednesday, Take a Break Thursday, and Feel Good Friday. So here are some Wyoming students eating their greens for Go Green Monday on St. Patrick's Day, of course. This is Glenwood students making gratitude notes on shamrocks for St. Patrick's Day and posting them on their gratitude wall. Also, as part of Wellness Week, South Mountain invited the New Jersey Devils to come. This was an effort by the PE teacher, Ralph Vieza. And during their visit, the team engaged students in discussions about maintaining a healthy body, improving focus, and encouraging physical activity in whatever way that feels good. The event was generously sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Additionally, the New Jersey Devils donated 2 hockey goals to South Mountain School this year. Here we have Hartshorn School taking their Wednesday walk around the school grounds. They had a beautiful day for it. And I move on to Washington School. We went a little bit outside the lines this year, and we innovated by combining elements from our code day with social emotional learning to create a wellness-focused day that we called We Celebrate. The day featured activities designed to promote self-awareness, emotional regulation, mindfulness, and overall well-being. These experiences aim to strengthen essential life skills, including empathy, resilience, and positive communication, and positive self-communication. We had yoga sessions by a wonderful volunteer. Mrs. Lowe and Miss Leone helped lead mindfulness and anxiety reduction exercises to help students develop coping strategies and promoting self-worth. 5th graders at Washington School were treated to music therapy sessions by the very talented harpist Olivia Scheidler, a 10th grader from Millburn High School. Music therapy is known to reduce stress, enhance relaxation, and support emotional expression. Lastly, Washington School hosted a whole school assembly featuring the South Mountain Conservancy and the Fairy Trail Coordinator. This is our 2nd year doing this. It's a very engaging program. The students absolutely love it. It's nature themed. The Fairy Trail Coordinator hides a carved wolf along the fairy trail, and we challenge the students to go into the woods on their days off and nice weather and go for a hike and find it. And then if they would take a picture of themselves with the wolf and go in to win a prize. All right, so moving on to middle school, middle school wellness is led by an absolutely outstanding team of educators and counselors who design and implement the most creative, purposeful programs for students and staff. While this list highlights a few key individuals, I deeply appreciate the many others who contribute throughout the school year, often in small but meaningful ways, such as just offering words of encouragement and words of kindness. Many of the student wellness activities are initiated and led by the WELL peer leaders. Examples of these activities include those listed here: the haunted Halloween hall, bingo, trivia, and what's really popular is therapy dogs. Middle and high school have really loved their therapy dogs. Wellness Week also at the Millburn Middle School was the 17th to the 21st. And it included these particular themes for the day: be the rainbow in someone's cloud, staff yoga, bracelet making, wellness bingo challenge. There was a staff walking challenge, mindful coloring, and there was a St. Paddy's Day breakfast for staff. Some of the additional events that happen, not necessarily just during Wellness Week, are Red Ribbon Week, School Spirit Week, Week of Respect. There's various staff-student events and staff-student volleyball. Moving on to the high school, this is the wellness team from the high school. Team members Linda Randazza and Shannon Days go above and beyond in planning wellness activities, organizing events, and providing daily support through the SAC. Olivia Scheidler, also a valued member of the team, contributes with great enthusiasm and offers meaningful insight from the student perspective. The activities shown here represent just a portion of the impactful work this team leads throughout the school year. As you can see, the events and activities at Millburn High School are both diverse and inclusive, reflecting the school's commitment to supporting the well-being of all students. Many of these events are student-led. Olivia was very busy this year, not just at Washington School. She also provides music therapy on a regular basis at the high school for all those who choose to come and relax and de-stress in a calming and supportive environment within the school building. As I said, the dogs are very popular. These are Abby and Ledger, two of the therapy dogs that visited the high school this year. These are clubs at the high school that align with the different dimensions of wellness, as illustrated by the Wellness Wheel. These clubs provide students with opportunities to engage in activities that support their physical, emotional, social, intellectual, financial, and environmental well-being. The final part of my presentation highlights the programs we offer for parents and guardians, sponsored by the consortium of Berkeley Heights, Chatham, Millburn, New Providence, and Summit school districts. Now in its 10th year, the Consortium Parent Wellness Series represents a decade of collaboration amongst these neighboring districts. The goal of this series is to provide families with meaningful tools and resources to support them as they navigate the complex and often challenging journey of raising healthy, resilient teenagers. This year's MMAC presentation and discussion focused on the book The Anxious Generation, offering valuable insights into the growing mental health challenges faced by today's youth. Additional presentations offered at Millburn High School, seen here, included a session by the Millburn Police Department on internet safety and cybercrime. This informative presentation helped educate students and families about responsible digital behavior, online threats, and strategies for staying safe in an increasingly connected world. New this year, Dr. Diskin hosted a series of coffee chats as an opportunity to connect with community members and introduce the changes taking place across Millburn schools. These informal gatherings fostered open dialogue, encouraged community engagement, and helped build awareness around district initiatives and updates. As a district, we must also acknowledge and support the well-being of our staff and educators. Offering wellness programs for teachers is not only a compassionate gesture, but also a strategic investment in the effectiveness and vitality of our school community. In a year marked by significant change and with more on the horizon, staff wellness faces unique challenges. Prioritizing teacher well-being directly enhances instructional quality, boosts job satisfaction, and ultimately benefits student outcomes, as our educators are the cornerstone of positive and engaging learning environments. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for giving me the time to share our initiatives. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. O'Gorman. It sounds like so much is going on. It's an impressive amount of stuff we get done in between all of your regular jobs. Does the board have any questions for Ms. O'Gorman? Ms. O'Gorman, Q&A. Ms. Bethina?
Hi, thank you so much. The Wellness Week sounded like so much fun. I wish we all did that. I had a quick question. What kind of backlash would we have if, like, we either removed or maybe reduced some of the candy and soda from some of the cafeteria menus?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
would we
something
look
I have
at-
brought up here. It's not the first time we've talked about this. It's really at the high school level that we face
They
a
will
lot
revolt?
of the backlash. Yeah.
Okay.
However, it's not easily to get at, is my understanding. It's really not what's in the cafeteria. I mean, there's students here. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but
We
I
have
believe that
student
what's in the
liaison,
cafeteria isn't soda. You can buy there is some sugar in there, like sports drinks and, you know, tea, that kind of thing. But it's not soda. I think there are machines, there are vending machines. I would love to remove them. I mean, I'm right on board with that, but, you know, I don't see the need for them whatsoever. I mean, they don't do anything, right? They don't
My kids are not
benefit
watching
anybody.
this tonight, so I can
Are
say
they?
this.
Oh,
No, I
I'm
said
the
they're
bad
not.
guy.
They're not.
I'm already, you know, like the food police in Washington. I feel terrible. Every party I'm walking around, peeking in the door, you know, it's just, I mean, you can really reward children by not using food. And that's what we really try and focus on, right? You can give them, you know, movie time, you can give them extra time outside. There's so many other things we can do
Yeah.
to reward them. Even at 10 years old, they love getting pencils and erasers, and, you know, they're happy with whatever comes their way. So. But I would like
Thank
to
you.
get rid of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
That it?
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
There's so many programs going on. What's working really well in terms of impact on students, and are we looking to expand those type of things? If you kind of could promote one thing, what would that be?
It's tricky because of the different age groups, right? The therapy dogs seem to provide a great deal of relief. There is a lot of stress, and there's not a lot of downtime, right? So I think adding, as a wellness, what I have found as being the wellness director, if I try to add too much, it creates more stress because it takes time away, right? So it's like walking this fine line. I think it's often in these small supportive gestures that go a long way. Like that. Therapy dogs are quick and easy. They're right there. You can pop in for 5-10 minutes and just, I'm a big animal person, so I'm all about that. I'm trying to think. At the middle school, I know from talking to Sarah Guiney, they do a lot, there's a lot of soft skills going on there in that guidance office. John would probably know more about it than I do on a school basis, but they definitely are very available. They have that open door. They're willing to accommodate. They'll work around. You know, we are doing, as the lead nurse, I see a lot of kids. We're trying to come up with accommodations for kids with anxiety, huge amounts of anxiety. Obviously, it's a problem now. So we're getting better with it. We're working on it. We've had some great PDs on it for the staff to help, you know, us manage it and recognize it, and especially as nurses. I would say 80% of what I see in the health office now is mental health related rather than physical. That's high, you know. So, but we know what we're looking at, and we have these collaborative teams. You know, I'm always working with my guidance counselor. We tag team it. Is this for you or for me? You know, that kind of thing. I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, that was great. I
Is that
appreciate
okay?
the insights.
Okay.
Was there another question over there? Ms. Longer-Richards?
Thank you for everything. You know how much I love you, and I think the programs are so fabulous. I just need to make one, I have to say this one thing. It's not music therapy if it's not done by a board-certified music therapist.
Thank you for
I'm a
that.
board-certified music therapist. It's like a thing in the music therapy
we'll have
world.
to get you to volunteer.
Oh, I'm happy
Now
to come
you've
play
said
anytime. But we can say
Okay.
music for wellness and music for relaxation and music for anything, but it's not music therapy unless it's done for a
Okay,
board.
I
but-
stand
And
corrected.
I do
appreciate that.
apologize for even having to bring it up.
No,
I didn't
it's
want
good.
that.
It's good to know, absolutely. And that was hugely popular. You know, I don't know if you know what the harp is, but it has 24 strings.
It's a full-size harp. I think she has a concert
Oh,
harp.
47 strings,
Yeah.
right? So we have a lot of musicians in Washington School really into their violin mostly, right? And they're so
Lots of
she
cellos,
goes,
yeah.
I have 47 strings to tune every day. How many do you have? And they go, 4. And she goes, you know, and they were mesmerized at her hands, watching what she does. It was transformative. It really was. It was such a beautiful
100%.
experience.
100%.
You know, felt like therapy, even though technically wasn't.
It's
But
just, no,
thank you
because
for
music
that.
is vibration and music is good,
100%.
and the harp is one of the most stunning instruments. It's like one string instrument that I really can't play very well, so.
Oh, it's very unique. Very unique. So,
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Thank you all once again.
Thank you so much, Ms. O'Gorman. Dr. Diskin, Mr. Connolly?
sent to me today. Of course.
So without the delay in time, I wanted to take a moment to recognize some folks that have come this evening to the board presentation and our meeting tonight. Tonight, we are very pleased to report that our hiring for 25-26 is almost complete. And sitting in our front row are our 3 new assistant principals for our elementary school. I'd like to introduce to you Patricia Policastro at Deerfield and Wyoming, Jennifer Baldassari for Glenwood and Washington, and Kimberly Bustori from Hartshorn and South Mountain. So we welcome them. Although not here tonight, we have on the board agenda an approval for James Schreiner as the interim VP at the high school. Both Mr. Logren and Mr. Schreiner will have transition days in June with the current high school administration. In addition, we also welcome Mrs. Terry Hecht, who will be being recommended as our Public Information and Community Outreach Officer. I think she's here tonight. We look forward to Ms. Hecht's talents in using social media, organizing our website, and promoting the great things happening across our schools and districts. And I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but Maria Kodak Robles to complete the hiring of our elementary counseling team at the elementary level. She comes with an extensive background in elementary counseling, holds a master's degree in social work from NYU, and is a licensed clinical social worker with a social worker certificate. So I don't know if she's here tonight. No. Well, we welcome her on board. In addition, we look forward to finalizing the remaining hires, which are a high school guidance counselor and our world language and ESL supervisor at an upcoming board meeting. Today we began interviews. We have held a parent night at Washington School to look for characteristics and qualities that the community and the staff would like to see in Washington. And tomorrow we're hosting another coffee chat at the Bauer Center at 9:30 to get any additional input and feedback. I think that's good. I think we're ready to go on the next presentation. All right, so I'm going to transition to, we've been asked over the last couple of years to take a look at enrollment updates, private schools, and how we're doing in terms of the retention of our students in schools. And so we put together some new changes that have happened this year. We have a new survey that is part of Power School. It's sort of an exiting survey, which we'll get into. But we'd like to share with you some of the noticings that we have throughout the district in regard to their attendance in different exiting or enrollment in private schools. So we're going to give you a little update with some data slides. So Mr. Connolly is going to present a few of those right now.
So good evening, everyone. We were taking, as Dr. Diskin said, we were looking at all of the private school data. So what you're looking at here is a look back to 2018, 2019. And just a couple of key statistics that you'll want to take a look at. If you look at the second column on the left, that represents the total enrollment in our school district as of June 30, very different from the number that we may use for our October 15th reporting deadlines at that point. But we did need to, pick and choose where we were going to choose that data. And since we are looking at numbers at the end of the year, we thought that was a good number to use. The third column represents the graduating class, and then you begin to get into some of the, the exiting. So we left the district for private school reasons, and you look in 2018, 2019, across the district, we had 94 students, which was almost 2%. If you look at the column directly to the left of that, or right of that, you're looking at the students that left for out of town or public school, which was 56. And we did combine that number with the students that left for out of state, out of country, which was 115, making up about 3.5% of that year. And you'll see that kind of that information following down. A highlight on this is it really when you look at 2019, 2020, that is as we are entering into COVID in March of 2020, which is an important number to keep in mind, because then you look in 2021 and you do see a big jump in our numbers. And that can certainly be explained at this point for that particular year when we're talking about public schools were underneath some different constraints than private schools at that point. So, people did leave districts. Millburn, I'm sure, was not alone in that, to go and seek an education on a regular basis at that point. The noticings, as Dr. Diskin put it, is that we see some elevated numbers thereafter, right? And so these are things that we begin to look at. And the slide here is really looking at the district as a whole, right? So we never really see those numbers come down. In fact, we actually see them tick up again in 22, 23, especially in the private school numbers, where we see, basically a 1.5% jump on that number from where we were in 2018, 2019, and then we go and we start to see a little bit downtick in 24, 25, but I would say statistically not really all that much as we saw the increase there. So as we kind of dig into the data a little bit more closely, might just be a better visual for everybody to see as we're looking at, the blue representing our private school and our red representing our out-of-town and public school, and then and the out-of-state numbers, and then looking at the homeschooling. So homeschooling really doesn't make up a very large percent across the district, but we do see, the blue kind of increases a little bit and then begins to tick down again. If you really want to isolate this to where our real hot spots were, we look at the end of 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And we really see those hot spots with the 5th grade building and then at the end of 8th grade. Right now, what are some of the key things that we take away from that? We take away from that, those are transition years. And at transition points in a child's education are when families make decisions about what they're going to do and where they might want to send. And there's lots of narratives that we can put to this. We can only go based on some of the information that we collect along the way to really discern what some of the reasons are, right? We can all have our opinion on what that might be, but here's just, some of the takeaways from the information that we garnered from the surveys that we did have. The desire to have a more personalized education through smaller classes, individualized support, a more positive learning environment. And while some decisions are influenced by logistical or family changes, the overarching trends point to a belief that private school are better equipped to meet students' academic, emotional, and development needs through a holistic, flexible, and student-centered approach. Those were just summaries of all the comments made, right? So as we look at the common trends, those were some of the takeaways that we had there. So I think our takeaway from this is, how do we try to hold on to some of these students as we are moving forward? And some of the decisions that we make moving forward as a district should be focused in on, how can we retain more of those 5th grade students entering into sixth grade, and then how can we also retain some of those eighth graders that are considering private school, right? And make our offering more attractive to them than it isn't right now. Not that we're doing anything wrong, but increase its attractiveness so that we can retain some of these students to attend Millburn High School. This is the isolated private school data, just looking at the private school alone, so not looking at the overall attrition. And so how are we going to monitor all this? We've implemented a new exit survey, which Dr. Diskin's going to get into and look at some of the data in more depth. So,
So one of the things we learned when we started the exercise of completing data is what you noticed about the T3 and the T8 and all those were state required mandates that we are reporting out on every year. But we didn't really know, we didn't dive deep enough. And so we developed a survey on Power School, an exiting survey, which has a little bit more information and a little bit detail to help us kind of narrow down and be specific on some of the reasons why folks might be leaving or withdrawing. And so the questions were geared around diving a little bit deeper, and as you can see here, there are multiple reasons for withdrawing. The state only requires us to report out on those that are moving out of town, going to private school, moving out of the state or the country, and then homeschooling. But we got a little bit more, detailed. Why are some people perhaps are leaving because of a family trip or an extended vacation, in which case they withdraw their child and they may or may not return, depending on how great that vacation was. No, I'm just kidding. Some attend vocational and charter schools. And, there are some reasons that students at the age of 16 can drop out of school. So you'll see here, as we start to collect this data, you'll see that the trend is enrolling in private school is the biggest trend. Another question we thought about is, well, why are you attending private school? What are some of the reasons? And we know that smaller class size and individualized attention, as Mr. Connolly noted, was in the summaries that parents used to fill in and write a narrative. Culture and climate, diversity and inclusion, the quality of the education, extracurricular activities, and athletics was added recently because there are a lot of students that do attend private school because of the athletic programs. Academic performance and results, if there are specialized student programs, school safety, discipline, and then that prep for college and career. So we are keeping a more detailed, granular look at that. Look, I don't know whether it's statistically relevant to say that people perhaps are picking the first one, smaller class size and individualized attention. Individualized attention, we might move that down to see if it's just I'm clicking on the first box. Because Millburn High School has small class sizes, and none of our classes are overly large in comparison with our other school districts. So that seems to be an interesting data point there. And then we ask them for open-ended questions, and we do request feedback related to their reason for leaving. It's almost like that individualized exit survey that perhaps someone might want to come and have a conversation with us, but it helps them to understand why they're leaving. And these were key trends that we found. Again, that number of parents cited smaller class sizes. There were parents that expressed dissatisfaction with the accelerated to AP courses. There were some preferences in discovering and having more joy and less academic pressure. Some relocated for jobs or moved out of town, wanted environments with balanced academics and co-curricular. And then while there were several that praised the quality of the education, they also believed that it could be improved with teacher availability and reducing of stress levels. So we know that we have work to do. And so there is definitely some things that we can look to improve upon. And this was data that was provided over the years in just terms of trends. Again, here you'll see why they decided not to continue. But overall, you will see district-wide, we have decreased overall throughout the years. And so what you can see, as Mr. Connolly described, a high impact during COVID, still ticked up, and now you can see that it is trending downward again. So some of the changes, we'd hope to attribute that some of the changes that we're making, that we have made and that we are looking to be sure that we have a more balanced, accessible curriculum has helped to remedy that. I also wanted to present a little bit on teacher turnover rates. It was asked, like, how many people are leaving that are teachers, and what are the teacher turnover rates? So we averaged about 491 teachers per those school years. And so we think about the reasons why teachers leave or they turn over. The first is resignations. Second is whether they resigned due to a non-renewal. Or they retired. And so you can see over the years, the total percentage exiting stays relatively flat. And if you look at the percent truly resigning or retiring, you'll see a relatively low number. And then you can definitely see a low number in our non-renewals. And that would be resignations due to non-renewals. So the state averages between 9 to 11%. We are clearly underneath those state averages. So retention of our teachers are very important to us. And I think that goes hand in hand with students wanting to be here as well, if our teachers want to be here as well. So any questions?
Well, certainly thank you for pulling this together. It's something the board has been pushing on since I joined, is getting more transparency and making more fact-based decisions. Even getting reports like this a couple of years ago was hard, so it may not seem hard to, put together a slide, do a survey, but it took a lot of work in the background to get to this point. And I hope this is something that will continue. We're not just going to show it when it's good for us. Year in, year out, what gets measured is what gets fixed. So getting to this point is great. We recognize this may be a problem. Let's work on it. To me, every kid who's leaving for a private school, that is a challenge for us. It's Millburn Short Hills. Some people are always going to go, but they shouldn't go without a fight. There should never be a flippant, if they don't like our education, they can go to private school. I've never heard that out of this board. And that will not be the attitude going forward. We're going to try to do the best we can for all the students in our program. We're not going to be able to offer everything to everybody, but we're certainly going to try. So I think that's the attitude that's presented here. I've heard both Dr. Disk and Mr. Connolly talk about, if we have a problem in 5th and 8th grade, you don't start in 5th grade. From 2nd grade, you're talking about, what are we doing to prepare you for the next level? How are you going to be okay? There's a good balance between, the academic rigor steps up, you need to be prepared, and scaring the children, not wanting to go there. And I think we're starting to get that right after focusing on it for a couple of years.
And I even think, how we communicate those transitions well before that transition year. You start kind of talking about it in 3rd grade and 4th grade so that it's not just shock when you get into 4th grade, like, we're going to 5th grade, now what? But if you start talking about it and you start talking about and highlighting the programs that we have that are so wonderful at Washington School, and then the same thing with our middle school and our high school, right? Getting out there and communicating those great programs that we have, and the fact that we do have small class sizes in comparison to our other school districts that we compete with. So, beyond that, we are a comprehensive school district with a comprehensive high school. There are some folks that really do need those detailed, individualized programs for athletics, for sports, for a particular academic pathway, and that might suit them best. However, we would like to see how we can continue the retention of our students and, of course, our staff.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Finkelstein?
Thank you guys for putting this together. It's great. It's good to see the teacher data as well. I just had a question on one of the slides. I don't know if it's with the horizontal bars with the blue and the red. Maybe it was slide 3. Go back further. So is the red because there's not much red out in the bottom 25, 26? Is that because
So it's
we don't have
incomplete
that?
data. Yeah, that's incomplete data. So it's as of when we created the slide. So we're forecasting out that would be more complete when we do this again next year. We can show the completed bar for this year and have it.
But then, so also on this, it's 130 are people that have notified us so far.
Correct.
For September.
Correct.
25.
Yep.
Okay.
Which, we don't know how much that bar will adjust. I guess the one piece of data we don't have is that the majority of it for this school year, and are we going to get more? Are we going to, will it grow significantly in the next month or so?
I would just say that typically private school enrollments are decided by now. They've either had to make their down payment or start those kinds of things. So I'm not sure how much that will tick up. Whether people choose to move out of town or out of state during the summertime, we frequently do get folks who are relocated I do think that number will grow just based upon relocation and families, jobs and things of that nature.
I think the other thing that's really hard is, and through the board's wish to be transparent, other places are not presenting this data, so it's hard to really balance this against, what does it look like in our peer districts, because they're not necessarily presenting this data at this point. So, that's one of the hard things to know. Are we in line with some of these other districts, or are we not in line with some of these other districts, to make a comparison where, like, when we look at NJSLA data, or we look at other metrics that are more standardized, we're able to, kind of assess and gauge where we are. The other thing that's really hard to always, kind of guess is some people, just by the sheer nature of their own education experiences, decide to go to private school anyway. And that may have been a part of their plan all along. And that's something we can't really measure in here. I believe we tried to embed it in one of the questions, but for the same reasons they may have always wanted to go to a private school, that could be the reason for the smaller class sizes that they're selecting. Or so it's kind of hard to discern that. But I think this is great. It's good data for us to have, and it gives us a lot of ideas of where we can go and look to improve upon it. So,
Mr. Bigman?
Just, I think the data is great and the presentation explains a lot. One of the things I was just wondering, if you're noticing trends in 5th grade and 8th grade, do we know specifically by those levels, like what percentage of the students are departing from those classes? Or is that something where, because like I think in one of the slides.
We could get that data. We just need the class size numbers for the different years, which we have.
Because they change also, right?
Right.
So like, even though it might look like you're kind of steady, if the class size is shrinking, the denominator is shrinking, then maybe the percentage
The
is actually
percentage is
expanding.
100%. And yes,
Yeah.
we could pull that data for the next time we present it.
Yeah, I think looking at it in that dimension might be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so first I'd just like to say, great presentation. I had one question about the 8th graders departing our district. So I was wondering if you had a theory why from 2023 till 2025, why that went up almost 100%.
So if you were to ask about theory, obviously we had the COVID time there, and folks tend to be happy where they stayed or where they wanted to go. I don't think that we can attribute any real trend as to why. I think there's some natural transition going into high school for a variety of reasons. Could be legacy, again, could be athletics, it could be for smaller class size, it could be for a specific academic program. So we weren't collecting specific data as to the reasons why, so conjecture I don't think would be relevant at this point in time, but I would just simply say that it's probably just a generalized idea in terms of why those folks were going. But I don't know.
The new form is going to give us a better chance to be able to assess some of the why. It may not be 100%, but it's going to give us better information to build off of.
Yeah, we weren't collecting that granular data, so now we'll have a better opportunity to kind of try to narrow in on some of those things. But
Thank
great
you.
question.
Any other questions? Great, thank you so much. All right, moving on to Board President's report. I'm actually going to pass for this evening. I don't have much more to say than our presentations. Let Dr. Diskin get back up here for the superintendent report.
All right, very good. So I want to let the community know that there is a special education survey that is going to be going out. Millburn is participating in the Department of Education's IEP Parent Survey. It's called Cohort Number 9. Rutgers is conducting the parent survey for the New Jersey Department of Education. Federal Reporting and Engagement Specialist, Office of Special Education. The Millburn Individual Education Program parents will receive a survey via email or mail directly from the Department of Education. We also have information about it on our website, and they will be speaking to the Special Education PAC Advisory Committee about it. I gave you a brief update on our hiring update. As I said, we are pleased to report our assistant principals here tonight. Again, we have secured Mr. Logren and Mr. Schreiner to help at the high school. And then last week, again, Mr. Connolly and I spent a day at Washington meeting with teachers and staff in small groups. And we held a parent night, and we're having another little coffee chat tomorrow morning to get any additional input and feedback. And that's tomorrow at the Bauer Center at 9:30 a.m. In addition, we have our new communication outreach officer here tonight, and we have finalized our hiring of our elementary counseling team, and we look forward to continuing the hires of our high school guidance counselor and our world language and ESL supervisor at an upcoming board meeting. With the transition of new elementary principals, they have been visiting, our new principals have been visiting with the current principals, the students and staff, attending as many events as possible, including strawberry festivals where they're available. We have also set up school visits with the current principal, and meet and greets for staff and the community is being planned for late spring or early June. Millburn's Consortium Parent Wellness Presentation, as Ms. O'Gorman mentioned, May 20th from 5 to 6 p.m. At Millburn High School Auditorium. Come hear sports broadcaster Craig Carton speak about a very important and timely topic and growing problem among teens, which is gambling addiction. Mr. Carton will share his gambling addiction story, the impact it can have on those who go down that path, and what to watch for. We are very thrilled to talk tonight about a cooperative effort between the township and the school district. We were able to get 11 Millburn High School students to sign up to be poll workers this election season. The mayor and council reached out, and we did our PR and our campaigning for that. So it's a great opportunity to learn, for students to learn about civics from the inside. And we hope students will continue this tradition in years to come. In more student election news, a group of high school students will use their lunch hours this week to register their fellow students to vote in all of our local and state elections this year. And Strawberry Festival season continues with South Mountain School this Wednesday, May 22nd, with a rain date of Thursday, May 23rd. I hope Mr. Weatherman is nice to us. And Glenwood will follow next week on Wednesday, May 28th. So go out and have some fun with the kids. In addition, the Millburn Art Advisory Committee is holding its annual Point of Origin show at the Millburn Library. This exhibit honors 12 Millburn High School AP art students with scholarships and a display of their work at the library. The opening reception takes place on Tuesday, May 20th at 7:30 p.m., where students will be presented with their awards. You can get more information about all of our artists and the committee on our website. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Diskin. Moving on to board committee reports. Student representative report. Mr. Glatt.
Good evening, members of the board, parents, and our dedicated teachers and administrators. Tonight, I have a few student activities to share, a sports report, but first, I have a more serious topic to report on. Grab your masks and socially distance. There's a new virus lurking in the halls of MHS. This virus is most contagious among seniors. It's sometimes contracted from the mail or envelopes. Watch out for senioritis. Side effects include laziness, loss of attention in class, and even can make a student become tardy or unexcused often. Contracting senioritis does come with some benefits. When the patient is cured, they often get to attend higher education at an amazing college. Jokes aside, thank you to all our amazing teachers who push students to work their hardest. Now on student activities. Recently, the MHS Real World Program students set out on an overnight learning adventure to Washington, D.C. at our nation's capital. They learned about our country's government, toured governmental buildings and monuments. They also completed a community service project. Ms. Brent and Mr. Axons would like to thank our administrators, especially Dr. Myron and the Millburn Ed Foundation for supporting this program and our students with diverse learning needs. Staying on the topic of the Millburn Ed Foundation, many students are currently working hard to complete their end of the year short film for the MEF's annual Film Fest. None of this would be made possible without their generous investment to our film studio and Mr. Rhodes' dedication to teaching students to become motivated filmmakers. If you would like to see some of the students' work, all podcasts, talk shows, and short films can be found on the Studio 462 YouTube channel. Now on to the sports report. To start, boys volleyball defeated West Orange and secured the 3rd seed in the upcoming tournament. Girls lacrosse defeated in a close 11-10 win. Junior Casey Sist led the game by scoring 6 goals. Our baseball team had a 5-2 win against Montclair, secured 2nd seed in the upcoming sectional tournament. Next, our girls flag football team defeated Essex Tech in its first round of SFC playoffs, and then unfortunately lost against Newark Central. The game ended in their season in a 7-3 total. This is impressive considering this is only the 2nd year the Millers have had a flag football team. Next on to track, Krish Puloff finished 6th in the 3,200 meter race. Matt Lynn, Adi Mander, Caleb Salins and Rishon Gorge all finished 6th in the 800 meter race. Jack Rella finished 6th in the pole vault. For girls, Anika Nordberg finished 4th in the triple jump, and Sophia Van Roon finished 2nd in the 1600 meter race. Staying on the topic of spring track, the Key Club will host its annual color run. Whether you're a track star or just a normal student, all can participate, and all proceeds will go to St. Jude's. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Glatt? Moving on to Finance and Facilities, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you. Board members present was Brian Lawrence, Asaf Shuden, Cynthia Longley Richards, and Noel Bigman. Staff present, Dr. Diskin, Cheryl Snyder, and Dan Nip. The Finance and Facilities Committee met on May 15th at 7 p.m. discussed the following. Facilities review, discussed the high school auditorium project and potential delays. All other projects are proceeding as planned. Discussed high school field project and reviewed policy 7250, school and facility names. Then the finance review, reviewed May's bill list, discussed organization resolutions, including the purchase manual and standard operating procedures, reviewed April transfers report, used more and piano sales are in process, discussed Millburn Institute of Talent and SAM contract renewals. Resolutions, committee reviewed and recommends the following items for approval by the full board at this meeting. April transfers report, board secretary's report, treasury report, and bill list dated May 19th, 2025. Organizational resolutions, instructional agenda renewals, Renaissance Fast Bridge, Sabres program, year 2 and 3, Marshall Model Evaluation Systems, Education Service Commission of Morris County, and Maury Evaluation Systems. ESY tuition for 2 Caldwell West Caldwell students, Remington and Vernick renewal, Simmons renewal, Kroll Environment renewal, Pomptanian renewal, acceptance of donation from Cintas Corporation, 5,000 custodial supplies, acceptance donation from Melanie Rosenbaum annual house tour, acceptance donation of Glenwood basketball backboards, purchase passenger van and disposal of school bus, and disposal of technology which has no value, and purchase of 24 iMacs for a high school video lab. The meeting ended at 8:25. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Any questions for Finance and Facilities? Moving on to program, Mr. Finkelstein.
Yes, thanks. The program committee met on Friday, May 16th at 2:45 p.m. Board members present were myself, Andrew Finkelstein, Mr. Reddy, Ms. Longley Richards, Ms. Shivani. Staff present were Dr. Diskin and Mr. Connolly. Someone left a coat. This agenda, this meeting notes, it sounds a bit of a list. We did go back, after sort of 6 weeks where the administration was kind of focused on hiring. We went back to sort of our priority list to sort of review where we stood on a bunch of initiatives that the committee's been working on. So we sort of broke up the items into a short and medium term, or very short term and medium term agenda items. So here we go. So first we got a brief hiring update with background on the 6 to 12 science supervisor for Mr. Connolly. Then moving on to our sort of list and agenda, our very short term items that the committee is focused on, as the administration is focused on their timing, is summer AP work. And I've got some notes for each item, but it's obviously not complete. Should we have deadlines midsummer is sort of one of our focus items, and what kind of work we are assigning for summer AP. Mr. Connolly did some legwork and noted that other schools do not have the deadlines. So again, this is a project for this summer's set of AP work. Survey the high school on block schedule. It's been 2 years, I think, since the implemented block schedule, and the committee thought it would be a good time to get feedback from teachers and students. Many questions came from the committee, including how the block scheduling has impacted grading and instruction time overall. Next, we talked about high school final exams coming this June, procedures and policies, again for spring 2025, ongoing work from the CNI team and department chairs and teachers. We got a brief update again from Mr. Connolly on those items. So those are moving from those priority short term to just the short term. So we're talking about things hopefully for September of 25 that we can implement. So expanding the use of common assessments in additional subjects in the high school. And again, exploring those changes upcoming for 2025 for September start. Many of the subjects have them right now. So just adding more to that. Potential high school grading and assessment changes. These are more tweaks and adjustments and improvements that we can make rather than any really large moves like last year. So just looking to refine and improve as we go. Overall policies and goals for the high school finals and midterms. A lot of questions have come up and sort of the committee was asking questions to better understand why we give them, what their purpose is, other educational philosophical questions regarding these exams, and then logistics. When do we give them? How many should we be giving, and how do we achieve the goals that we're sort of setting out for these exams? And so the administration is going to, planning to do legwork, I think survey teachers to get feedback so we can sort of examine the whole overall philosophy behind midterms and finals and the best way to then implement a policy around that. Some of the medium-term goals that we're discussing or have on our agenda is middle school grading and placement review. There's been certainly parent feedback on those issues, and it's something we are targeting to get more detailed data and understanding on and thought on. And then offering more AP electives for lower classmen. This is a target for 2026-27 implementation for that school year, but that policy needs to be finalized sort of into the fall, winter of 2025, so those kids can then sign up for those classes if we were going to change what's offered. So that is something the administration and the high school are going to keep working on. Schedule C, sort of an audit of policies and prioritization. The committee was curious if we are supporting extracurricular activities in the best ways that we can, serve the interests of the students. Do certain activities need more support? Do others need less? How can the board, and the administration be proactive in sort of refining our Schedule C club supervision and support? Then on to CPB. There have been lots of parent feedback on CPB. So the administration, I think, is conducting a survey for best practices from our peer schools. And again, when that data comes back and we can get a better picture of what our peer schools are doing around us, there can be a more complete evaluation of that. That survey is expected to be done over the summer. The Princeton option, for lack of a better name for it, that's the idea of giving a waiver to move up a level in a certain subject to kids. The administration of the committee had discussed this idea. The feedback from the administration was that we should at least for now, wait to see how the grading develops under the new grading policies we have in the high school, and see where the level and the placements are from what we already do, since that's somewhat of an unknown given the changes we've already made, and then revisit the Princeton option, sort of understanding again where we stand in terms of placement in the different levels in the high school. And then a further accelerated math program, and the possibility to desire of using qualifiers to place math students. Again, there's been some parent feedback on having something beyond the double accelerated 11th grade calculus program we've recently, the administration has recently come up with. The administration will discuss with the math director and the supervisor at first their thoughts and come back to the committee with thoughts and ideas, in the not too distant future. Then moving on, we discussed the unlimited AP count and the impact on the weighted GPA. There were some concerns from parents, from music students and others who take more electives and don't have a chance to take as many AP classes, and how would that impact them. So that is something we want to come back to. And then finally, that's it for the list. The committee discussed adding a link on the BOE website to our agenda items and the progress that we've made on them and where they stand, so the community can follow, because just getting these minutes orally is clearly not a great way to communicate this and to have people be able to look and see what the committee is doing on an ongoing basis. So I think that's in process from the administration already and might be ready pretty soon, which will be helpful. And the meeting concluded at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Finkelstein. That did indeed sound like an extra 1%, at least. Any questions for program? Mr. Farashudin?
Excuse me, yes. I have a comment on the summer AP assignment. I'm glad you're looking into it, Mr. Connolly. I think we should. However, I do want to support our AP teachers. The reason for summer AP assignment, it's not that our teachers are being difficult, it's that they have a lot of material to cover in fewer weeks of instruction. As an example, the AP exams just ended, and we still have a month left of school. Other school districts start earlier in the year. They don't have the week off in February. Our teachers have to get through a lot of material and fewer instruction time. That is a reason for the summer AP assignment. I understand it's kind of a bummer having to do homework over the summer. I'm glad we're looking at it, but I just wanted to kind of defend our teachers and why they give out those assignments. It's because of the way the calendar is shaped, so.
Can I just chime in? No one's attacking any teachers. And no one's questioning, I think, the value of doing work over the summer. I think actually it's just, how we do it, and are we aligned with sort of our peer schools who kind of all face the same calendar deadline as well. So in absolutely no way are we saying there's a problem with the teachers or teaching of AP, or that there's anything wrong with actually having summer assignments for AP. I think that is, from the original research we saw, that is one of the more common things, that everyone does have some sort of reading and assignments over the summer. So yeah.
Yeah, and I apologize. It wasn't the committee that I've heard from parents. Parents have said, why are teachers giving assignments over the summer? So it wasn't construed as you guys looking at it. You guys are obviously trying to solve the problem. I'm just parroting back some of the comments I've heard from parents, and I'm giving the reason why these summer assignments are made. So thank you.
Ms. Bethina?
Hi. I have two questions and a comment. So the first one, I just want to understand, when you say unlimited AP, did you mean that the weightage of, so we had this policy where only 4 APs were given the extra the extra weight, and then we changed it to now all AP, as many APs as a student takes, they all get the advantage of the GPA weightage. Is that what it is?
So there's two things. One is the concept of allowing more access into the younger levels. So that's what Mr. Finkelstein was referencing in his report. The other one is already something that was in place, is the removing of the cap on AP and how that weight would take place moving forward. And that was part of some of the pathway presentations earlier in the year. And
are we, at this point, do we still have a cap on giving kids the choice? And how many, if a child wants to take AP, as many APs as they want, do we cap that at all outside of the GPA weightage?
It'll be effective starting in September. There will not be a cap.
This enrollment period?
Correct.
Right, gotcha. Sorry, quick second question to Mr. Finkelstein. I was just wondering, and I apologize if you covered it and I missed it. We talked about the bridge between elementary to middle school for math so that more students can avail of, I don't want to even call it accelerated math, it should just be the norm for more kids having access to higher level math. Did the program committee look into that? And I apologize if you spoke about it and I missed it. I just want to know.
No, it's a good catch, because it's something we talked about. I think it was either it was last meeting or the meeting before, where we did ask the administration, or we asked Ms. Martin directly, I think if she was at the meeting, I'm trying to remember, to look into the 5th grade math, and then the 5th, 6th grade jump in math. So she was working on that. She hasn't gone back to us, but, again, it wasn't discussed at this meeting Friday, but it is in our agenda of things that the administration is kind of got on their list to work on.
Thank you. And I just had my last comment. I just wanted to say that the past 2 weeks with the AP exams that happened, bunch of kids had the M day, which is like almost every single class. And my daughter and her friends were in the car with me, and they were like, we're so happy that we don't have M days and we're back to block scheduling, because they cannot deal with like every class every day. So this is, it just kind of occurred to me at that point, the value of the block scheduling as seen by students who had to face M days and had to do homework for every single class, every single day. So yeah, just wanted to say one check in favor of that. Thank you.
You got something to say, Mr. Finkelstein, or?
I'd have thought my son also had asked me why there were M days the week of AP exams. So when Jen said it, it just came. So maybe we could follow up. We will follow up with the administration, who will follow up with the high school, and we will find out why there are M days during the AP week. Because they had the homework every night while they were studying for AP, so they were curious why that was happening.
I just want to add in, my son complained as well.
Another vote for hating M days from my house.
I'll add it to my list.
Anything else on program? All right, back to focus. Anything else on program for Mr. Finkelstein? All right, moving on to negotiations. That's me. We met on Thursday, May 15th at 9:15 p.m. Board members present: Chris Heinrichs, Asaf Farashudin, Noel Bigman, Visual Ready. Staff present: Cheryl Snyder, Board Counsel Mark Tabakin. Meeting started approximately 9:15 p.m. The negotiations committee met to review the proposed salary guides completed by the MEA. The committee discussed and finalized a counteroffer. No further meetings are currently scheduled. The meeting ended at 10:17 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Chris Heinrichs. Just to add a bit of context there, even though we don't have meetings, we're communicating via email, and both sides agreed that that's the best path forward. So I think negotiations are proceeding as intended. So hopefully more updates there soon. We had governance on the agenda. There was a meeting, but we're not going to read the minutes. We'll catch up on those next time. Moving on to administrators' reports, assistant superintendent report. Mr. Connolly.
Thank you. And before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to some of our AP teachers. There were lots of reports of little celebrations that took place throughout this high school, the week of the APs. Some breakfasts were served by teachers, sponsored by them. A great math video went out from one of the math teachers, just kind of encouraging our students to do really well. So shout out to all those high school teachers for all the work that they do all year long to make them successful. Moving on, just want to address the AP weighting policy. I would like to discuss the recent policy change that eliminated the cap on AP numbers for eligible AP level GPA weighting. Thank you to the community for sharing your feedback and insight with us. We value the arts and we are dedicated to maintaining a well-rounded student. Still, we want to ensure that the AP caps don't restrict students who wish to challenge themselves academically. We greatly appreciate the insight and recommendations shared with us, and we'll consider your comments as we evaluate the change moving forward. May is Jewish American Heritage Month and AAPI Heritage Month. May is Jewish American Heritage Month. We honor and celebrate the vibrant and varied American Jewish experience from the dawn of our nation to the present day. Thank you to our families who donated the books to the middle school and the high school libraries in honor of the Jewish American Heritage Month. We deeply are grateful for the generous support and the ongoing commitment. Adding these donated books to our library collections provides readers access to powerful stories and essential historical voices that inspire the empathy and promote critical thinking. These titles will continue to enrich our students' learning experiences for years to come. May is also Asian American Pacific Islander Month. In May, we honor and celebrate the significant contributions of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, and their impact on our country's history. Later this month, on May 30th, the Millburn Middle School staff and students will be treated to a special AAPI Cultural Arts Assembly featuring Korean traditional dance and instruments. Let's see, moving on. Millburn High School Spring Concert. The Millburn High School bands will present their spring concert on Wednesday, May 21st, which is this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. in the MHS Auditorium. This festive evening of music will showcase the talents of concert bands, symphonic band, and wind ensemble performing exciting and diverse repertoire selections. The concert will also honor all of our graduating senior band members and retiring high school administrators, making it a memorable event you won't want to miss. Admission is free. Scholar athletes. 2 Millburn High School seniors were honored among the 2025 Essex County Scholar Athlete of the Year last week. Congratulations to Jared Barishaw and Siva Patel Jawar. Every high school in the county submits 2 athletes to recognize their accomplishments on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. Jared plays boys basketball and lacrosse, and Siva plays girls soccer, basketball, and flag football. Respectfully submitted, John Connolly.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Moving on to Business Administrator's Report. Ms. Schneider?
Tonight's meeting includes 2 separate action segments, the first being the organizational action items that took place at the beginning of the meeting. These resolutions are approved to have the contracts and agreements in place for the board's operational components for the new 25-26 fiscal year. The board reorganizes in January when newly elected board members are sworn in, and these organizational resolutions are affirmed by the newly reorganized board for the second half of the school year. In addition to the regular monthly financial resolutions, the second set of action items this evening includes resolutions approving contract renewals for the 25-26 school year. On the agenda are resolutions for the purchase of 24 iMacs for the high school video lab and the purchase of a passenger van to replace a bus, also on the agenda for disposal. A number of donations are also on the agenda this evening. Thank you to the Cintas Corporation for $5,000 in custodial supplies that they are donating as a part of the recognition of Mr. Davis as the Custodian of the Year. Thank you to Melanie Rosenbaum of Compass Real Estate and sponsors of the annual real estate tour. Thank you for your continued support of the district and specifically the Special Services Program. And also a thank you to the Glenwood PTO for the installation and purchase of basketball hoops and backboards for the gym at Glenwood, valued at $36,413.70. Thank you to the Glenwood PTO and the Glenwood community for your generosity and continued support of district programs. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Schneider. Moving on to public comments. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Responses to questions and comments will be posted to the district website before the next board meeting or within 10 school days.
Sunny Paturi, 12 Midhurst Road. Thank you so much for, okay, that's what I thought. It was very interesting to see the okay. All right. was very interesting to see the Wyoming school presentation. Wyoming school is very dear to me because my kids started at Wyoming and we moved to Hartshorne in the middle. And I know Ms. Muller very well, and I had full confidence in her abilities. I was part of PTO executive board at the time. The things they do there are very, I always thought, I mean, I've seen a lot of all the elementary schools. I thought Wyoming was the best, and I think it's been proven for over the years. So the things they do over there is like, Mr. Mercurio started it, and Ms. Muller is continuing it. They take respect very seriously, and there's no bullying, and they take bullying very seriously. There's no bullying, and they always respect each other. And it's implemented at other schools, but at Wyoming, it's kind of enforced at every level. And then, so when I was at Wyoming, we did the Caring Kids program as well. We did much more at Wyoming than at other schools. I don't know if it is happening as much anymore, but Caring Kids is very important because it helps kids to be in other kids' shoes who have difficulties in various ways. And before that, before Caring Kids, they used to make fun of those kids, and then when we explain them what it is to be in their shoes, really, and they understand and they appreciate it better, I think that can be done for not just elementary schools, but also to middle school and possibly to high school if the schedule permits. So that's one of the programs that is very important for the well-being of the district. And MMAC, I was also on MMAC, and I saw the wellness presentation about MMAC, and Detective Ed at the time, he's a teacher now, so he used to give us a presentation about like how the students are like doing some mischief behind like public grounds, like in the high school, like in the playground or whatever, after hours and stuff. So MMAC helped us like reduce it quite a lot. So I don't know if the MMAC is going on still at that same level. I think MMAC is one of the very important things in reducing like drug abuse and various other things that can potentially impact kids. I think it's much more under control compared to 10 years ago at the time, but I think it's a very important program. So I'm just highlighting the importance of it and the need to continue these two programs. So thank you very much for that. And I wanted to talk about specifically today about the enrollment numbers. So I think a lot of parents are concerned and have been concerned. I think the exit has to be taken very seriously. So the staff leaving is a big concern. And I have a kid at high school, and I'm not very happy to see Dr. Myron leaving. And he has been there for a while, and I was hoping my kid will benefit from his expertise. But unfortunately, he's leaving. It doesn't, I do trust the board to get the right candidate, but there is some amount of nervousness, as you can understand. So I think the feedback session you had was helpful, but then I think community wants to see updates on a regular basis, how far we are, so that it just puts the anxiety to rest a little bit. So, because high school principal is very important, and so are all the principals. I mean, I'm sad to leave to see Mr. Mercurio leaving too, but I think that is less impactful compared to high school, because high school is like everything goes on the record. So it is very important. And the grading at MMS, there have been parents that have been raising alarms for a while, and I would have thought like reducing the cutoff from 94 to 90 would have probably fixed it. I don't know how difficult it is, but if there is a simple fix, I would request the board and the school admin to do it sooner than later, so it can benefit everyone. And then there is a notion that we are really ahead of pathways in math and other stuff, but we did some comparative analysis, me and other parents who are put lots of hours, got the data, public data, and comparative analysis, we are still lagging behind. We intend to provide that to the, we are lagging behind other public schools, open access public schools. So, so one of the reasons parents are leaving is they feel like school is being unnecessarily restrictive when it doesn't cost the school anything, but they're still being restrictive. So that is another thing. So there are many reasons, but I think our school is very good in terms of art, well-being, and all these, but these should not come at the cost of academic progress. And I think the parents are not necessarily leaving for legacy or any other reason. They moved to this town because the town, we have really good teacher, we have good community and all. So, but I think they are failing to understand where the mismatch is. So I think more transparency would be helpful. And the numbers have to be taken really seriously, and I request that. And
Ma'am, can I stop you there? It's been close to 6 minutes.
Okay.
So you're certainly welcome to come back as many times as you'd like.
Okay, I'll stand.
Let's, yeah, she's been waiting patiently.
I thought the ringer would ring, but it didn't ring. It wasn't as loud. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Olivia Scheidler, and I'm a sophomore at Millburn High School. I seek your help in saving MHS's human spirit from destruction. Since it was announced that the AP cap for GPA weighting was removed, students have become war machines, stacking up as many APs as possible, even if they have no interest in a class, just to knock out competition. This is a pathetic satire on education. For years, Millburn has been a beacon for education, shaping well-rounded, whole individuals, not commodities stamped with a GPA. Two key things are at stake. Number one, the mental health of students, and number two, the culture and spirit of MHS. Recent initiatives have been boosting mental health at MHS. Block scheduling has been fantastic, corrections have helped ease stress, and I've also gotten great feedback on personal initiatives such as Heart for Wellness and yoga and meditation. But removing the AP cap for GPA is a huge setback. Many students are stressed, feeling pushed to take as many AP courses as possible, like 6 or even 7 at a time. I asked my brother, who's a sophomore at Princeton, what the recommended course load is there, and he said 4, which is confirmed in the undergraduate announcement. AP classes are college-level courses, so taking 6 or 7 at a time is not advisable. I'm sure that everyone in this room agrees that education should be about shaping human beings, not machines. This new protocol makes it seem as if you don't take as many AP courses as possible, then you're not taking advantage of all the special opportunities at the school, which is not true. Let's begin with orchestra, band, and chorus. As soon as this change was announced, many people passionate about the arts dropped these courses to take more APs. The arts are going to fade if this protocol remains, which would be a bullet in MHS's heart. And what about the elective courses that help shape students? Happiness, human rights, STEAM exploration, and many more. They will die. Some might argue that eliminating the AP cap for GPA is fair, that students' GPAs should reflect however many APs they choose to take. But what they're neglecting is the deeper impact this protocol is generating: a potential mental health crisis, cutthroat competition, and the eradication of individuality and creativity. I'm not speaking on behalf of Ms. O'Gorman or any teachers and administrators. I'm a student proposing that we go back to the tried and true system, with the addition of 1 more AP to account for AP World in freshman year, to make a total of 10 APs counting towards GPA. Students can still take as many AP courses as they want, but if there is a cap on how many APs count towards GPA, students receive 2 healthy messages. Number 1, there is a recommended number of AP courses each year for balance, and number 2, APs are not a GPA game. I ask that we please take a step back to take a step forward. Let's save MHS from the death of its human spirit. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fantastic.
I'm Jeffrey Feld, I live in Alexander Lane. I can't follow that. They're great. And along that lines, I want to have a shout out to Zach, who told me today he's going to Elon. I want to wish you the best of luck. at Elon University in the fall.
Thank you.
I also want to thank the board for publishing, I guess, in 2 newsletters ago, reminding the people about the right to vote and the deadlines, and I hope you will continue publishing it through June 10th as to the dates of what you have to do, and that independents can vote in the primaries at that time. Another issue I'd like to talk about is the budget. Tomorrow night, the Township Committee is going to be considering a long-term tax exemption resolution. I don't know what the board's position is, but the way that it's structured, if it was structured under a different statute, there'd be more monies coming to the Board of Education. And I think someone should be representing, asking, why are they structuring the deal under the HMFA statute rather than the long-term tax exemption statute, where you would get a land tax credit and you would get monies based on the value of the land in the area. Also, I've been asking questions, and I think we should be getting, when we start the July 1st budget, we're going to have garden leave till March and some various severance payments. I think we should know if these costs are going to be and how they're going to be paid, because you're having basically double payments from that you didn't have in past years. I enjoyed the presentation about the student population and transitions, but when you had the chart about teachers, did that include administrators? Because this year, I mean, I don't know that answer, because this year there seemed to have been a high number of administrators who have left the system, and I don't know if that was reflected in the numbers that was shown on the chart before. Also, one of the issues to be concerned about is why people leave, is the exodus of elite athletes from 8th grade to high school. Because I think there are, I've been told, at least 3 or 4 female athletes who are elite athletes or ballet performers who are leaving the system. And another factor to be considered, based on what I've learned through litigation, is one of the factors why people are upset about the school system is they make comments and they don't get responses from the Board of Education. And you might want to look at that type as a factor why people are leaving the system. As to inconsistencies, there's been articles and various tap into in the newsletters, shout outs to the high school student athletes that accepted colleges, and 2 of them are going for sports that I don't believe the high school does. One is like equestrian. I don't think we have an equestrian team, and one is rowing. And we should be focusing that we are able to them to continue those passions through the system, but that's in high school. That takes us to the issue at hand. And I want everyone to understand, I am the pro bono counsel to the middle school student who won a national championship. And we should be fostering, we're shouting out his praise of what he's done in athletics, but this year, the pressures and what happened to this child was unbearable. Last week, I'm making an appeal to the board. I feel that something happened last week which I think can lead to a settlement of this matter. However, every time I speak to counsel, I say, can I meet with some people to discuss a settlement? Your attorney acts as a gatekeeper, who prohibits me from making a settlement proposal. And I'm just asking an offer, because I'm talking as businessmen, and it's as parents. I believe we can resolve this issue. Because of something that happened last week, that the Board of Education gave a different status to this child, that we can avoid the issue as to the 2405 issue that's been driving the governance committee crazy. There is a settlement that can be done. I'm just asking you to give me an opportunity. Let me go with your counsel and meet with the superintendent, because that's the person that would do it, the middle school teacher, principal, talk about what happened in the context of a policy that was adopted last week. I'm talking about an agreement. Expand that agreement, we can settle this matter. Otherwise, we're going to be in litigation. And if we have to go to litigation, various people are going to be subpoenaed and have to testify. It's not in the best interest of the community. It's not in the best interest of the child. Just please open the door that I could have a few minutes to speak rather than getting always shouted down on case management conferences. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feld. Just state your name and address for the record again, please.
Sunny Kathuri, Palmetto Historic. So one of the comments that I came to know, one of the board members, or who, I don't know who exactly made this, but saying that one of the APs is a joke and it doesn't count, so that just is a little bit concerning for a lot of parents, because these kids put a lot of effort in knowing and doing the APs, and we shouldn't, I don't think it was meant anything by it, anybody meant anything by it, but to the people that are taking it, it seems it feels discouraging. So there are some APs that are, very hard, some APs that are easy, and for some APs we teach higher level, some APs we teach at lower level, but we shouldn't make comments like an AP is a joke. So, and especially when we are going about giving credit to all the APs, so students may take some APs just for the credit or whatever. So I think we should be at an environment where we foster any kind of progress. So we should encourage the people that are not doing well to do better, the kids that are doing well to do even beyond. So I just want our school to be academically challenging and encouraging environment. That's all it is. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no more public comments, moving on. All right, no discussion items for tonight, so moving on to board action items. Item 1, instruction agenda items. Are there any carve-outs? Can I have a motion to move instruction agenda items N1A through L in consent agenda format? Mr. Farashudin, Mr. Lawrence can second. All in favor? Can I have a motion to approve instruction agenda items N1A through L in consent agenda format? Ms. Bethina, Mr. Farashudin can second. A, resolve to review the superintendent's recommendation of the HIB investigations for the period of 4/28/25 to 5/12/25. B, resolve to approve professional development requests. C, resolve to approve membership in the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association for the 25-26 school year. D, resolve to approve athletic teams to begin summer workouts on June 16th, 2025 in accordance with the NJSIAA rules and regulations. E, resolve to approve year 2 of a 3-year subscription fee for the Renaissance Fast Bridge. Item F, resolve to approve use of the state-approved Marshall model for teacher staff evaluations for the 25-26 school year. G, resolve to approve the use of the state-approved Marshall model for principal supervisor certificated evaluations for the 25-26 school year. H, resolve to approve service contracts with the Educational Services Commission of Morris County for the 25-26 school year. I, resolve to approve the service contracts with Maury Evaluation Services, LLC for the 25-26 school year. J, resolve to accept out-of-district students for Millburn ESY program for 25-26. K, resolve to approve the 24-25 District Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. L, resolve to approve service contracts with Care Options for Kids for the 25-26 school year for substitute nursing services. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2, personal agenda items. Can I have a motion to approve the personnel report and addendum dated May 19th, 2025? Ms. Longley Richards, Mr. Lawrence can second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Dr. Diskin, do you have some comments on personnel?
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate our custodian from high school for retirement of 15 years, and it is Luis Coelho. So congratulations to him.
Great. Item 3, business agenda items. Any carve-outs? Can I have a motion to move business agenda items N3A through P in consent agenda format? Mr. Farashudin, Ms. Longer Richards can second. All in favor? Can I have a motion to approve business agenda items N3A through P in consent agenda format? Mr. Finkelstein, Mr. Lawrence can second. A, resolve to approve the budget transfers of April 2025. B, resolve to approve Treasurer of School Monies Report for the period ending April 30, 2025. C, resolve approval and certification of Board Secretary's report for a period ending April 30th, 2025. D, resolve certification that no major account or fund has been expended and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year. E, resolve to approve bill schedule number 12. F, resolve to approve the first renewal of construction management services contract with Remington and Vernick Engineers. G, resolve to approve the first renewal of the agreement with Siemens Industries, Inc. H, resolve to approve the first renewal of the agreement with Carl and Associates. I, resolve to accept donations from Cintas Corporation of Mason, Ohio to purchase custodial supplies in the amount of $5,000. J, resolve to accept a donation from Melanie Rosenbaum of Compass RE, along with sponsors of funds raised for the 11th Annual Architectural and Real Estate House Tour in the amount of $3,690 to be used by the Special Services Department for the professional development by district staff attendance at the Autism New Jersey and Transition Conferences. K, resolve to approve the first renewal of the food services management contract with the Pomptonian. L, resolve to approve a purchase agreement with All American Ford of Paramus for the purchase of a 2025 Transit 350 passenger medium roof van. M, resolve to approve the disposal either by auction or as refuse of 2008 Chevy Type B school bus. N, resolve to accept a donation from the Glenwood School PTO to the Glenwood Elementary School for the installation and purchase of basketball hoops and backboards for the gym at Glenwood School, valued at $36,413.70. O, resolve to approve the disposal of the technology equipment to be recycled by Upcycle at no cost to the district. P, resolve to approve purchase agreements with Apple for the purchase of 24 iMacs. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Is there any old business to discuss? Any new business to discuss? Excellent. Second round of public comments. Same rules apply. Anybody for public comment? All right, seeing no comments, moving on to board member comments. Any comments from the board? All talked out? Excellent. All right, we have another executive session coming up after the meeting. Can I have a motion to go into exec session to discuss the following? Confidential student matters, personnel matters? No. No. Only those two items.
And, I'm sorry, and this one.
And collective bargaining and negotiations? All right, 3 items to discuss. All right, can I have a motion? Mr. Bigman, Mr. Farashudin can second. The discussion on this topic will be disclosed to the public at the next public meeting of the board or soon thereafter, as the circumstances and nature of the subject permits. All in favor? All right, we're in exec. Thank you, everybody, for attending.